Have you ever thought about the real gladiators, the people that risked their lives every time they entered the Colosseum, and what significance and what lessons we can take from their lives? Don't go anywhere.
Dr. Deen, Dr. Deen, Dr. Deen, love life.
Assalamu alaikum, I'm in Roma, Italia. Oh, it's just about to hit me. We're looking for a SIM card so we can start using the internet and go to the Colosseum. So I'm just looking for a shop to get a SIM card and then start using, oh, pizza. We couldn't find a SIM here, we need to drive up further, see if we can get something else, any of the other shops. The cobbled streets, the wobbly streets of Rome. Now, about 2,000 years ago, the famous Colosseum in Rome was built, and in the first 100 days of this Colosseum being built, 2,000 gladiators were killed. So they used to get these slaves to fight, and then they'd bring in animals from other countries from around the world, wild boars, elephants, lions, and even bears. So it was a spectator sport, so everybody would come and watch these people just fight till their death. So this was something that was the norm, and these people would, if they would ever lose a battle, it would be up to the spectators, the crowd, to decide whether these people will live or die. So if they did a thumbs down, then the gladiator would be killed. Going inside the Colosseum now, can't wait to see the inside of this great amphitheatre. There was once a mighty kingdom where slavery was commonplace, where slaves were literally fed to the lions. For 500 years, the lives of the gladiators were a means of sheer entertainment and pleasure. Few became celebrities, but most were just victims of tragedy and terror. A world where women and slaves were mistreated and even used immorally. On the other hand, for the first time in human history, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought to the world freedom from slavery, dignity and recognition of the rights of women and slaves. Behind me is where they would keep all the wild animals and the gladiators in the subterranean level, and all of this would be wooden planks, so a wooden floor, and they would come out from to fight. The women and slaves would sit right at the top, the furthest away from the action. Just walking on the outskirts of the Colosseum, 75,000 spectators would come here to see this massacre of people, the gladiators, the slaves, fighting in a form of entertainment. And they would have tickets, so there would be ticketed events, and they would know exactly which gate to go out of the 80 gates, and the whole stadium could be emptied within 15 minutes. The gladiators became celebrities in their own right. So the slaves became gladiators, and the gladiators were funded and supported by the aristocracy, the rich and famous, and the elite. So they would fund different gladiators to fight and just watch them kill each other and be killed and eaten alive by animals. Wild animals, alligators, wild boars, bears, hippopotamus, all kinds of exotic animals were brought here from all over the Roman Empire. Now, looking at the incredible might of the Roman Empire, you can now begin to appreciate and understand how the Sahaba must have felt when the Prophet ﷺ told them that one day you'll defeat this empire. It would have been unimaginable to the people, the Sahaba, to think that they, in the middle of a desert with no civilization, no wealth, no army, would be able to defeat this massive empire. Assalamu alaikum. It's Fajr time here. Well, the sun's just about to come out, and I just want to show you how beautiful this place is. Instead of staying in those hotels in the city, come about 20 miles outside Rome to stay in this incredible pine forest. You can hear the birds all the time, and obviously now you can hear them praise Allah, chirping away there. It's absolutely priceless. The views here and the peace and tranquility, being in nature, Allah's creation, there's nothing like it. So I recommend, if you do come to Rome, come to this camping village just outside Rome, so you can actually get some peace instead of all the noise and the pollution in the city. So it's a really, really beautiful place to be. Okay, if you're hungry, there's plenty of snails for you to eat, so you can join me. No, not really, I'm not gonna have any snails. I wouldn't even dare try it. Ludi Gladiatorum was where the gladiators, the best gladiators, were trained, and that's where they would stay, and then they would fight battles for 3 to 5 years and then earn their freedom, and once they were freed they could continue as trainers and be free people. Otherwise they would continue as slaves, and if they were slaves they would just have to die in a battle for the sake of the spectators. The Colosseum was used just like what you see today in Hunger Games. I don't like Hunger Games, but the concept was the same. You know, whoever can survive till the end, whoever can win, but it was just something that they took very lightly. The worst criminals, the worst convicted criminals, were left with no weapons to defend themselves whatsoever, and it was just a spectator sport. So this amphitheater was used just for sheer pleasure. Women had no significance in Roman society, and that's why they were on par with the slaves, and they didn't even have names. They had like numbers. They're almost numbered rather than individuals. Just like the pharaohs and the Persians, the Romans also fell, and every nation has a rise and fall.
وَلِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ أَجَلٌ فَإِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهُمْ لَا يَسْتَأْخِرُونَ سَاعَةً وَلَا يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ.
Assalamu alaikum. And that may be over time, with the disconnect between the Muslims of China, the laws, the regulations they've had to live under over the centuries, has really affected their learning of the Deen, and even the recitation of Quran and other aspects of their practices. Another thing I noticed was that the women's prayer section is within the main hall. It's not separated as a separate hall or a separate room, but within the main hall at the back, but it's an open area for the sisters to pray. In a Chinese rickshaw, going to a Muslim family's house feels